Does the Bible promote and condone rape and sexual slavery? That's the question we're going to be addressing in this video. Hello, my name is Jonathan McLatchie. I was recently participating in a debate at the University of Oxford with an atheist by the name of Alex O'Connor. Viewers may recognize him from the YouTube channel Cosmic Skeptic, where he uploads videos, has nearly 300,000 subscribers, pertaining to religion, secularism, Christianity, etc. One of his favorite arguments, of course, is the moral critique of the Bible, in particular, his moral critique of the Old Testament. And this came up during the course of our discussion in Oxford. The topic was why I am or am not a Christian. I presented in my opening statement an argument for the resurrection of Jesus, which is one of the primary reasons that I'm a Christian. There's many other reasons as well, of course, but I only had a 10-minute opening statement, so I presented the case for the bodily resurrection of Jesus, which I don't think my opponent was well prepared for, especially the approach that I took to the resurrection. You can go and check out the debate for yourself, especially the portion of the debate where I cross-examined him on some of his objections to the historical veracity of the Gospels. But I wanted just to focus in this video on a particular point in the debate when he brought up Numbers 31. So we'd already discussed a few other moral issues pertaining to the Bible, one of which was slavery, and we had a discussion about Exodus 21, which I think I addressed adequately. But when it came to Numbers 31, I actually had not properly studied this text, and so I wasn't prepared with a ready response, unfortunately. So I just had to concede that I haven't studied this topic, or is a difficult passage. It is a tricky text to deal with, and it has been my long-term policy as a Christian apologist that when a critic of the faith brings up an objection which I don't have a ready response to, that I don't attempt to wing it, I don't attempt to bluff, but I will concede if I don't have a response, or if there's a difficult passage that seems problematic, or if there's an argument that I think is a difficult one, and I think it's important to acknowledge weaknesses in your position. I think that's an important point of intellectual and academic integrity. So I did just that. I said that it was a tricky passage, and I'm not sure at this point how to deal with this, or exactly what's going on here. So I since the debate, I have studied the text, and I want to in this video get into what I would say if I were doing the debate now and this objection came up. So as I mentioned, the text is Numbers 31, and the verse that my opponent read in the debate was verse 17. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman who has known man by lying with him. But all the young girls who have not known man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. And the idea that Alex O'Connor brought up was that this text supports and even condones sexual slavery, that these virgin women from among the Midianite camp are being taken as sex slaves. And this is morally abominable, and this is one of the reasons why, in his opinion, we should reject Christianity. Now, of course, it should be noted that this really is an objection to the inerrancy of Scripture, not to Christianity itself. Christianity, I think, does not rest on inerrancy. I happen to be an inerrantist myself, but if inerrancy turned out to be false, I think the case is still overwhelming that Christianity is true. And that would be from evidences such as the bodily resurrection of Jesus, the evidences bearing on the historical reliability of the New Testament and the grounding of the Gospels and Acts and eyewitness testimony, the arguments for messianic prophecy and predictive prophecy more broadly, etc. So I think Christianity, the truth of Christianity is still secure, irrespective of this question, and whether this question is answerable. And as I pointed out in my closing statement in the debate, the question is not, are there questions for which there are not satisfactory answers with respect to the Christian faith, but rather are there more substantive and more numerous objections to believing or to not believing the gospel. And I'm persuaded that there's far more numerous and far more substantive objections to not believing the gospel than to believing the gospel. So then we come to Numbers 31, and we've read verses 17 and 18. I want to just read to you the context leading up to these verses. So this is where Moses says to the people, "Have you let all the women live? Behold, these on Balaam's advice caused the people of Israel to act treacherously against the Lord in the incident of Peor, and so the plague came among the congregation of the Lord." And then you have the verses that Alex cited. "Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman who has known man by lying with him. But all the young girls who have not known man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves." And so the idea is that these women have seduced the Israelite men into sexual immorality. And so the command is, as punishment, that they are to be put to death. However, those among the Midianite women who have not seduced the men into sexual immorality, they're to be spared. So their lives are actually to be spared from death. And they are to be brought into the Israelite community and to be wives to the men of Israel. Now, does this text support or condone the rape of those female Midianites? Well, the answer is, if you go over to the book of Deuteronomy and chapter 21, we have some elaboration on marriage to female captives. This is from verse 10. "When you go out to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God gives them into your hand, and you take them captive, and you see among the captives a beautiful woman, and you desire to take her to be your wife, and you bring her home to your house, she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and she shall take off the clothes in which she was captured, and she will remain in your house, and lament her father and her mother a full month. After that you may go into her, and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. But if you no longer delight in her, you shall let her go where she wants. But you shall not sell her for money, nor shall you treat her as a slave, since you have humiliated her." So actually there's very clear regulations as to how you are to treat female captives. They're to be given a time where they're not to be touched. They are to mourn the loss of their father and mother, not to be treated as a slave. They're not to be treated as a sex slave. And they're also brought into the community of God. So they are actually being exposed to the true God of Israel, the living God. And so that, of course, is a good thing. Their lives are being spared. And furthermore, suppose that one of these women does not want to marry a man from among the Israelites. What happens to them? Are they forced into these marriages? Well, we're not told. We don't know. It's left to our speculation. And so it seems to me that upon first blush, although this seems like a tricky passage, upon closer inspection, it's not nearly as difficult as it first appears. And so I just wanted to put that out there. I had a number of people contact me after the debate saying that they were intrigued by my positive case for Christianity, the evidences I presented for the resurrection, but they were bothered by this text in Numbers 31. And so I hope that this clarifies that issue, and thanks for watching this video. I've been Jonathan McLatchie of the Apologetics Academy. If this video has been helpful to you, then please consider subscribing to this channel.